Hey there, angry faithful. I just wanted to drop in, bend your ear a little bit, get your attention. So if you're not listening, drop what you're doing and pay attention to me because I'm here to inform you that not only can you get your daily, maybe if you're binging it, I'm not sure, that's entirely up to you, but you can multiply your doses of angry me fuckery by paying attention to all of the platforms upon which you can find either the dulcet tones of my voice and David's voice or my pretty face and David's not so pretty face. Anyways, digressing, we not only we are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, we're on Rumble, we're on Google, Apple Podcast. We have a TikTok page. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and of course Facebook. So if you find yourself fuckery deprived, curl up with a nice hot mug of shut the fuck up and just listen. Open those ear holes and be prepared to be cream pied like it's the first time. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, Avery Faithful. Today on Nerd Sports, we're going to talk about the interesting and intricate intricate, yes, of water hockey. Yes, that's actually a thing. It's underwater hockey. And I had to show Johnny it. He's because I throughout the week I try to bring up some stupid weird sports that we can talk about just for the first part, so everybody gets someone interested. Is like, what the hell is he talking about? Anyways, I brought this up, and Johnny's reaction is like, "This is actually."
I'm sitting here, and I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, And the first thing I noticed was everything was in French. So I'm like,
it might
we
just
know
be
the French
France.
aren't doing this.
No, you'd be surprised. Europe
Be,
has a lot of water sports.
I get that, but this has got to. The Europeans don't play hockey, right?
Yeah.
So that's got to be a French Canadian thing.
Might be. I didn't go fully into the research on it, but I literally, like, there's times it's like I just type in weird sports and it just comes up with. There's another one.
I mean,
I'll talk about that next
people
week.
are like these people are like Quebec, whatever, and Quebec, Oye, right?
No, it's Quebec. It's Quebec. You have to do it with the film. It's not that.
But like, because you watch Letterkenny, and all they do is talk shit about the French Canadians, right? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this video here, that's why. Like, seriously, are you? Okay. Anyhow, so I'm going to work backwards a little bit. I'm not going to start with baseball. I'm going to do baseball last today because there's a lot to get to. I'm going to start with NASCAR.
Black Rifle won.
Yeah. Okay. So in that race, all right. The number 3 car fielded by Richard Childress Racing was driven by Jeffrey Earnhardt, the grandson of Dale Earnhardt.
Oh, wow.
And they pulled a retired crew chief, Larry McReynolds, retired crew chief turned TV commentator, out of retirement, out of the booth, and put him back on a pit box, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Earnhardt has had a less than stellar career because of the equipment that he's been driving, right? He's got these small time teams, and it just he's got that Earnhardt gene, right? He needs to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally gets the chance to get put in some good equipment. Enter Richard Childress, who was the team owner for Dale Earnhardt Sr. when he was still alive. Going to Talladega, which is traditionally Earnhardt country. Like Dale Jr.'s won there 6 times, right? At one point, he won 3 races in a row there. This is a restrictor plate race, so it's very aero dependent by restrictor plates. So what they do is where the air comes into the engine, they put a plate there and it restricts the airflow and it drops the horsepower, right? Dropping horsepower, you reduce the speeds, because if you let these guys run wide open with an unrestricted engine, you're going to see speeds of 220, 230 easy.
Oh wow.
And
Was it like a wind tunnel effect in there or something like that?
no, you get a car 43, you get a pack of 43 cars running together. The first couple of cars punch a hole in the air and everybody else just sucks up behind them. And when I say you could run wide open, the only people that are running wide open are the people that are up front. Everybody else is either 3/4 to half throttle, and they're still going close to 200 miles an hour just because the air is pulling them. All right, the cars buff it around. You get beat to shit driving that fast, right? If you could stick your hand out the, I mean, these guys are driving literally inches off of each other's doors.
Oh wow.
And the cars become so sensitive that you could, if you could stick your hand out the window at 200 miles an hour and touch the car next to you, you'd spin them out. You could move the car next to you.
Whoa.
I mean, you could turn somebody just by pulling the air off the back of their car.
Hmm.
And then these guys are beating bumpers, man. I'm like, the guys, they'll get up behind each other.
Why is it like that with just that one?
Well, Talladega and Daytona are the same way. And after they reconfigured Atlanta, it's basically a 1.5-mile super speedway. So they run basically wide open all the way around that track too. See if I can do justice here by trying to describe how drafting works. So, you know, when you're driving in your passenger car and you're driving down the road and, you know, you flick a cigarette butt or something out the car and you see the cigarette butt whip around the back of the car, right? Or sometimes if you flick it just the right way, it goes up on the roof and just never touches your car. It just zip back down behind your back windshield, right? And hits the road. Because as you're traveling through the air, right? Driving along and you're punching a hole through the air, that air goes underneath your car and it goes over your car, right? Well, they've got those big spoilers on those cars for those tracks because it creates downforce, which keeps those cars glued to the track. Now, when you get a car comes up behind you, you know, it's like when you're driving down the highway and you get up behind a big rig and you feel the air change over your car.
Yeah.
And you don't have to press the throttle as hard to go the same speed. And then when you pull out, all of a sudden you get this surge of speed because your car is now out in the wind. It's got downforce applied to the front end, and you can actually pass people like those big trucks. You can pass the big trucks when you get out from behind them.
Yeah.
That's basically, in essence, a poor man's version of drafting.
Okay.
Okay. So when these guys are going 190, 195, 200 miles an hour, they rely on packs to stay at speed. And if you lose the draft, you're going to go down a lap or two. And it is a dude. I had the chance a few years ago to go to Talladega for race weekend, right? And that dude, that is a sight to behold. So, you know, I'm sitting there going, okay. Now, when you see a wreck at Talladega or Daytona, if you're lucky, you might see 1 or 2 cars involved. Somebody spins out or somebody gets put in the wall or something like that, or somebody loses the draft or, you know, something like that, right? But when you have multiple cars, and I'm talking 6, 7, 8, 9, sometimes up to 12 cars involved in the same accident, a lot of times the drivers that are coming into the accident, the majority of the cars that get involved with what they call the big one have nowhere to go. It's not like you could slam the brakes on, because the faster you go, brakes really kind of become irrelevant. All right. I've talked to a lot of IndyCar drivers, a lot of race car drivers, period. They say the faster you go, the higher speed you go. It's all about throttle control at that point. You lift out of the throttle and you kill your car's momentum, right? And you aren't as likely to spin out because the way that brakes work is it's all based off of hydraulics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you press the brake and you've got your brake bias set up wrong, whether it's left wheel or right wheel or rear wheel or front wheel, right? You could actually spin yourself out because of the different braking pressures that your caliper or your brake calipers put on your rotors.
Yeah, that's the reason why a lot of funny cars use parachutes.
Yeah, well, they use parachutes and they also shut the engine down. And once they get down to a certain speed, then they can start applying the brakes, and the brakes are used on the rear wheel.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and even then, there's times that when you brake, the whole front end just pops up.
Yeah. Now, they do use brakes at those super speedways, and it's called dragging your brakes. So it's like you've got your foot in the floor, right, on the accelerator. You can actually ride your brake, and what that does is it causes your car to come back a little bit. And you see guys that get out just a little bit too far in front of their drafting partner, and they'll drag their brake to pull that guy back up to their rear bumper so they can start pushing each other around the track. Dude, it's poetry in motion. But yeah, even though that Noah Gragson won the race for Junior Motorsports with the Bass Pro Shop Black Rifle car, I really, really, really wanted to see Jeffrey Earnhardt win, and he damn near pulled it off. Not only did he earn his first career pole driving the number 3 for Richard Childress, but he also got his career best finish. He finished second, and we're talking hundredths of a second. If they'd have had one more, if he'd have had one more lap, he would have caught and passed Noah Gragson, and he probably could have won that race. And it just goes to show that you take a driver that's got any kind of amount of talent and you put them in good equipment, they're going to perform.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe, and I hope, and I pray that Jeffrey Earnhardt gets a deal driving in the Xfinity Series for Richard Childress. I really do. Now, moving on to the NASCAR Cup guys. Okay. So I don't really care about the guy who won the race. I don't care. I don't care for him. I just don't.
What's the difference between the Talladega?
The Xfinity? Talladega and Daytona.
Talladega's
no. Now. Oh, you mean the Xfinity versus the Cup?
Yeah.
Cup is the big leagues.
Okay.
Okay. Bigger engines, bigger cars. That's where all the advertising dollars are. I mean, everybody's got sponsors on their car. Sponsorships make up probably about 2/3 of the operating costs for the team on any given weekend. It probably runs close to about $250,000 to field a car every weekend. Racing is not a cheap hobby.
It's not.
It is an avocation that, if you're good enough, will become your vocation. So, nobody, people say that you don't get involved into racing for the money, but when you get up to that level, that's what it's about. It's about the money. It was a good race on the Cup side for the Sunday race, but with the interesting story that came out of Talladega on the Cup side happened after the race. Kyle Larson, he was leading. He wasn't leading. William Byron drives the number 24 car for Hendrick Motorsports. He was leading, and Kyle Larson was pushing him, right? Because they're on the same team. They drive for the same guy. And Kyle Larson goes to step out of line to make a block to try to, get in front of the fast moving line. And it just basically spread everybody out going through the last turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he caused a wreck, like a 3 or 4 car wreck. And Denny Hamlin tweeted out on after the race. It was like a little video clip of this Asian woman talking about, do I turn now? And then it shows footage of Kyle Larson wrecking half the field. And he goes on to say, like, he goes, look, before you guys start getting all bent out of shape, Kyle and I are friends. And he laughed, NASCAR didn't think so. NASCAR was like, all right, Denny Hamlin, you you have to start sensitivity training before the end of the year. Now, why this is important is because during the COVID season back in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
NASCAR was doing those e-racing, basically they're racing on video game, right? And they were broadcasting it. Kyle Larson uttered the N-word, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets suspended indefinitely by NASCAR and told you have to undergo sensitivity training before you can even think about applying for reinstatement, right? But yet Denny Hamlin goes and makes a racist inference towards Asian drivers and couples it up with footage of Kyle Larson wrecking the field. Well, part of the field at the end of the race. And all he gets is a slap on the wrist and told you have to undergo sensitivity training before the end of the season. No suspension, no fines. And it's like NASCAR went way on this way with Kyle Larson. They're going way back the other way with Denny Hamlin. And it's like they're trying to figure out what the two ends of the spectrum are. So that way the next driver that fucks up gets right in the middle. And I'm like, that is such crap. And I mean, I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan at all. And I think that he should have at the very least gotten suspended for a race. Okay. But, or at the very least, docked championship points.
Now, is he like, does he put people in the stands? Because
He's got he's been racing for a while and he's got a pretty good fan base.
Reason why I say that, it's the same reason why this guy said, like, he didn't like Tom Brady. This is just a situation. Don't want to have this talk.
Right.
But he put Tom Brady, like, everybody's like, oh, this is Tom Brady, or oh, this is Michael Jordan type deal. They're goats. They're this. But the whole reason why they actually do get away with a lot of stuff that a lot of people, that was weird. Your whole light situation just blinked out black and then came back on. But anyways,
hold on. Let me see if I can recreate that here. Hold on. Oh, maybe. Oh, like that.
no, it just went black.
I don't know. I blinked.
But
I missed it.
anyways, but because of those people putting people in the seats, they get away with a lot of things. They want to see Tom Brady. They want to see like
but
Michael
here's the
Jordan
thing.
or Magic Johnson.
NASCAR went out of their way to ban things like the Confederate flag at races, which has been a staple on race weekend since NASCAR was invented.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that it's been like a couple of years removed since they've done that, do I support the decision? Yeah, I don't really care. Me, myself, I've never flown a Confederate flag at a race. I always fly the American flag. I served under it, you know. But with the no, there we no, there, no, maybe, no. I got to turn that out. There we go. That sounds better. I had to turn my reverb all the way down.
Hmm.
Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, where's the standard? Okay. My gripe with NASCAR is their inconsistency with enforcing the rules. Some drivers get a heavier penalty while others get a lighter penalty. And it's like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to punish one person one way, punish everybody the same way.
Well, you also got to think
It doesn't
NASCAR is
matter. It does not matter. It doesn't matter who brings the amount of who brings the largest amount of butts and puts them in the seat. It doesn't matter. Okay. Because for years, when Dale Earnhardt Jr. was racing, and your face froze. Oh, there you go. All right. You were like, anyways, it looked like you were puckering up for a glory hole. But
okay.
but for years, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was the most popular driver on the circuit. I can see things moving in your background, so I know you're not frozen. So just knock it off. That's just disturbing on so many different levels.
Sorry.
He would get docked points. He gave a victory lane interview at Talladega. It was like his second or third in a row. He's like, he goes, I forget what the question was, and he goes, man, that don't mean shit. Daddy's won here so many, more times than me. He said it on live TV. They docked him 25 driver. Docked him 25 points or playoff points, not playoff points, but points, right? And it ultimately kind of led towards him losing the championship that year in 2004. But it I mean, were people pissed off about it? Well, like, yeah. I mean, hit him with an FAA, or an FCC, fine. Don't dock the guy points. It's like whatever. But um it telling a guy to go to sensitivity training is like telling somebody to take defensive driving for a speeding ticket. I mean, yeah, you're going to be inconvenienced all this time and everything like that, but if you're going to sit there and drop the hammer on somebody because they uttered something which, on a hot mic, or something that was supposed to be a private room that got broadcast, and he immediately apologized afterward. He's like, I shouldn't use that word, and that's just a word we grew up using,
Oh,
talking
it's
with my
like that
friends.
those
Do I,
generals that had invited that Rolling Stones reporter, and it ended up getting fired and everything, and with Obama.
yeah, but I don't know. Just be consistent with your penalties.
Yeah.
It just, but anyways, we're gonna move on from NASCAR. The NBA playoffs are going.
Yeah, I was reading something about what was it?
Well, right now, Golden State leads their series 3-1. Milwaukee, they just won their game and won their series over Chicago, winning 4-1.
Yeah, Bucks bounce Bulls and rolls into the East semifinals.
Yeah. The series that I'm paying attention to is the Dallas and Utah series. Dallas leads that series 3-2, and they play Game 6 tonight at 9:00 Central. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna pull for the Dallas Mavericks, and yeah, it would be nice to see them advance past the first round. It would be nice to see them do well again. I'm not necessarily a Mark Cuban fan. He's I don't know. He is the great value version of Elon Musk. No, that's doing a disservice to Elon. He's a flamboyant, loudmouth millionaire. He's on Shark Tank. I mean, the guy made his millions selling out before the tech bubble burst. And he got bored, bought a basketball team. You know, granted, he changed the culture in Dallas as far as basketball is concerned. He helped craft the team that brought home their first and to this point only NBA championship with Dirk Nowitzki, Jerry Terry the Jet, or was it no Jason Terry, Jason the Jet Terry. There we go. Jason Kidd. Yeah, it just I can't even think of the other guys right now off the top of my head. It just shows you how passive of a fan I am in basketball.
Yeah, I was talking to my HR guy today when I was going to the office, and he's more of a Cowboy fan. He's like, well, I listen to podcasts, but I just mostly listen to like stuff about Cowboys. I love Cowboys. I was like, okay, I can gather that. Some people, it's not everybody's cup of tea and everything like that, but it was a lot of people that I was like basketball. A lot of people want us to talk about soccer too. It's like, why don't you talk about soccer? I was like, because that's one of the sports we don't. I mean, baseball and NASCAR is prevalent. We do a lot on NFL.
When the World Cup actually starts, we'll follow Team USA all the way through their pool play, and we'll cover the World Cup when it's here. You know, when it's going.
Yeah, hockey's another one I wouldn't want to fucking deal with either. Soccer's one of the other ones. Only because
I have been enjoying watching my Bruins play this season. I really, really have.
I like watching hockey. I just don't like what's like I won't do like college football because the bracket system.
Right. Well, you mean college basketball?
College basketball is the same, almost the same way.
Well, because college football didn't have brackets. I mean, well, they
no. College football.
You talking about the conferences and the polls?
Yeah. All that. I mean, you have to be like a super mathematician to figure that out half the time, because you'll have like a winning team that doesn't go to the big game.
You see, they come up with some kind of a logarithm that grades your strength of schedule.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't know,
because you do have a lot of like, you'll have like a like in the Big 12, you'll have like, I think it was like 4 teams that almost won almost every game.
Yeah,
or they won every game except for like one.
Yeah, well,
that's the reason why they have that kind of conference.
Well, hold on a second.
So another I just saw this meme. It was the same people that are upset that Elon Musk is buying out Twitter are the same people that drive Teslas. And I thought about it. I was like, fuck, you're absolutely right on that one.
Well, you know, and a lot of these people that are pissed off at Elon Musk buying Twitter are the same dickheads that promised to move to Canada if Trump won. We're still waiting on them to fulfill their promise.
That was another one. Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny because like Sean King, he's just some liberal hack reporter, right? He showed a screenshot on his Twitter timeline today that said, you know, Elon Musk blocked him. And he's like, Mr. Free Speech, everybody, hashtag Elon Musk. And everybody just immediately piled on this guy. I was like, look, he blocked you. He's exercising free speech by choosing to not listen to you. He could have suspended your account. He is the owner.
Yeah.
So he lets you keep your account. That's free speech.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of these liberals don't get it, man. It's like you can have free speech as long as you agree with them. But the second your point of view changes and it differs
Well,
from their
it's you
ideology and
can't
it
use
doesn't toe the
liberal.
party line,
Yeah, it's both sides.
mostly liberal.
Yeah,
It is the liberals whose heads absolutely imploded when he bought Twitter.
yeah.
Absolutely imploded.
Which we got to start putting our stuff back on there. I've been using Truth, the Donald Trump one, which we have like 11 followers already.
Okay.
But
I'll get to
it's
work on the I'll get to work on the Twitter feed, but I've just got to sit down. I've got to go in there. I've got to definitively clean it out, and I've got to go start following different accounts for the things that we cover. So
yeah,
but yeah. So I don't
should
know,
be
the NBA,
cleaned out. I haven't touched it in a while, but
dude.
it's fucking still like an STD.
Dude, it's a very penicillin resistant strain.
It's been in Thailand a couple of times and it's not getting fixed.
It's currently curled up in the fetal position, sucking its thumb and tugging its ear, rocking back and forth, muttering the word "lady boy" for some reason. Uh, so,
That's a good one.
I've been known to have a gem every once in a while.
Yeah.
So moving on to baseball. Oh my god, dude! Today, holy crap.
I was looking at something that oh fucking what was it? It was just a game that had almost a no hit game until like the 6th inning. I forget which game it
Yeah, that
was.
was Shohei Ohtani last week for the Angels.
I thought it was no, it was like today. I think it
I don't know. I don't know about that because
Miami versus
normally,
Washington. Because in the 9th inning, that was the one I was just looking at. Marlins and Nationals. It was like at the 6th innings when they actually started doing it.
oh
The 6th, it was a no hitter up until the 6th inning.
yeah, no hitter's fine. I want to see a perfect game. That's no walks, no hits, no errors. It's 27 men up and 27 men down.
How many times has that actually happened?
There has been 23 perfect games in all of Major League history. There should be 24 because Jim Joyce fucked up a call at first base. Just Andres Galarragas. He was a pitcher for Detroit a few years ago. Twirled a perfect game and even got the last out. And Jim Joyce fucked the call. I mean, like he shit the bed. Guy was out by like a step, like by almost a full step, and he called him safe. And back then, you didn't have instant replay, and you couldn't challenge those calls, and he couldn't reverse it.
Mm.
That guy caught so much hell. Now there's some kind of a lawsuit being filed against Major League Baseball, petitioning them to change the ruling on that game. And I'm like, no, don't. As much as I want to see that kid get credit for that game, he's not going to be able to celebrate it the way that he should. And two, you're going to open up this Pandora's box for people to go all the way back through the archives and start questioning calls for everything. And you can actually change the outcome of games. And we don't need to do that. Leave it as is. Leave it as is.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's like, for example, okay. So when Babe Ruth used to pitch for the Red Sox, okay, way back in the day, okay, he hit a guy first inning, right? And got ejected by the umpire. So the relief pitcher comes in and throws the rest of the game. He pitches the rest of the game. And he threw a perfect game. I mean, he pitched 27 outs, did not allow another base runner, didn't have any errors behind him, right? He only gets credit. He only gets credit for a win because he was the pitcher of record. He doesn't get credit for a perfect game.
That's asinine.
Right. And it's like Madison Bumgarner during last season with the seven inning doubleheader, and he throws a no hitter, and it's not an official no hitter because it was only 7 innings. Well, that's not my fucking fault. He pitched a complete game as were according to the rules at the time, and did not allow a runner. No base hits were given up by him. He should have gotten credit for a no hitter. Yes, put an asterisk next to it and say 7 inning doubleheader a game, but he still gets credit for a no hitter. No, they didn't. They didn't change it, and honestly, I don't think they should.
That call actually still pisses me off only because it's one
Now,
of those things that
today,
it should count only because he pulled it off. It's like changing the rules on something just because you feel like you shouldn't you don't like that guy.
well,
It's the biggest.
yeah,
It's my ball. I'm taking it home. You can't play. I still win.
yeah. I mean, but like I said, we don't need to go back and change outcomes of previous games. We just can't allow ourselves to go down that road because you're going to open up a litany of games that get questioned. It could change the scores. It could change the outcomes. It could basically rewrite baseball history, and we do not need to go down that road.
Yeah.
But today in St. Louis, there was a bench clearing brawl between the Mets and the Cardinals after a sixth Mets player got hit in this series. The third baseman for St. Louis, Nolan Arenado, he already knew what was coming. He knew he was going to get plunked, right? But Yohan Lopez threw a 94-mile-an-hour pitch that came high and inside. Arenado took exception to it because I mean it's like you don't throw at a guy's head, you just don't do it. If you're going to hit him in the leg, hit him in the butt, hit him in the ribs. Don't throw at a guy's head.
Make that butt jiggle.
But he challenged the Mets pitcher verbally, and the Mets pitcher Yohan Lopez, he was heard saying, "Come get me," and it was on, dude. The bullpen's emptied, the dugout's emptied. It let me see here. I mean, let's see. I'm trying to see who was ejected. He said as mad as Alonso was about being hit on Tuesday, which was yesterday. So this was yesterday. He was even more irate about Cabrera pulling him down while the two sides were shoving each other and jawing in the middle of the diamond, right? So he was just like let me swing, So Genesis Cabrera pulled me by the back of the collar and then he just ripped down, and the coach kind of just jumped on me. And let me see here. Okay. There was only two players that were ejected. It was Arenado and let's see here. Guy named Clapp with two P's. Shut up. I mean, you're not going to throw.
What's going on?
Hold on a minute.
Well, on the Mariners left, Marco Gonzalez exits after being hit by comebacker. Risk conjunction. At the 11th to 6, the Mariners headed into Wednesday with one of the best records in AL. Only a half game behind Blue Jays for the best. They won Tuesday night 8-4 at Tampa Bay, so they were riding high and feeling pretty good. That feeling went south pretty quick as Wednesday's starting pitcher Marco Gonzalez was struck with a line drive into the first inning. That doesn't feel good even just to watch. The shot was 109 mile per hour off the bat of Harold Ramirez. It caught Gonzalez on the left forearm wrist area and giving him his left hand picture. This seemed like it could linger for a bit. Initial words from the Mariners is a left wrist contusion. Contusion. Is that contusion? There we go. Stephen Hawking's.
Contusion.
Yeah, contusion. He'll undergo further test, and we'll hear more information later Wednesday night or even at some point on Thursday. Even if it is only a bruise, simple logic dictates that Gonzalez' next start is in jeopardy if there's any swelling at all. Do I still need to find more stuff?
Yeah, give me just a minute.
Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here? So if you're a Mariners fan, he's probably not gonna start out next time he plays. Come on. Okay, not going to that one. Not that one. There we go. Oh, here's another thing that we should have addressed. College athletes leaders say timing of NCAA president charge perfect, but job not an inevitable one. That's weird. One day after the NCAA announced President Mark Emmert will step down by 2023, several high-ranking leaders throughout college athletics on Wednesday agreed it's the right time to find new leader, but the position is as ambiguous as the future of the organization itself. It's a unicorn. Pac-12 Commissioner George Kilof said that's a really, really difficult job, not an inevitable one. I'm not sure anyone would want it. What is it? I'm curious. He always gets the better of me. Is that for
Curiosity
all
killed
sports?
the cat.
Well, is it for all sports, or is it just because?
I'm sorry. Run that by me one more time.
NCAA. Is it
Yeah.
National College? Okay, so it's
National.
sport.
Yeah, it's for college sports.
So all the college, because the new president, the president of that organization has to run for all college sports, right? So he has to dictate each and every sport, or does he have like the final vote if there's like a decision to be made? Commerce Commissioner Mark Amers said he's concerned that once the NCAA structure is determined, nobody will like it because could be a pay for play scenario that symptoms money that could otherwise be used for things like nutritional programs and facility. Okay, yeah. they're just worried if they get it up that college kids are being paid on because a new president comes in and changes to that.
Mhm.
But I think I mean, I understand that if you get a scholarship to a college and everything, but they still have to do like odd jobs just to like get food and whatnot.
Well,
I'm not
here's
saying
the
like
thing. Okay,
go,
so they were talking about compensating collegiate athletes, right?
yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. All right,
Because didn't we talk about this like a couple of it's like
we
last
might
year?
have, but here's the thing. When you start messing with stuff like that, oh, look, my face froze.
Yeah,
There we
dude.
go.
That's what
Hey.
happened the last time, I guess.
Um, so when you start compensating athletes, you start messing with their amateur status. And that's huge for the NCAA.
Well, there's no okay. The only reason why you don't want to go to amateur status was back in the day. It was this. What was that runner? Uh, in 1943 or no 1938. The Indian guy from Oklahoma.
Jim Thorpe.
Yeah, Jim Thorpe. Okay, I just forgot his name. Don't look at me like that.
Hey,
Like I
no,
should have
but hey,
known shit.
I will give you props for even knowing who Jim Thorpe was. So yeah.
Well, he got his gold medals taken away because he played a semi-professional sport, and the only reason why that was because all these athletes in the Olympics were supposed to be amateurs, not pros. But they did away with that like a long time ago.
Yeah.
So now pro players can play in the Olympic Games. So that was the only reason why to be amateur. So in college ball now, or call it college teams now, they should actually pay the players like they should like max it out of, hey, maybe treat it like a part-time job type deal where they only making like 20 to $40,000 a year. And that's it. That's all you can make. You can't go like over that. Make it a staple for all the colleges and everything. And you only because they always give them like their best players. Sometimes they depending on where they're going, like to the college and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They always give them like extra stuff. Like, oh, if you go to this college, you'll, you know, your mom will get like a house or something like that. Because there's a lot of things they found out later on that a couple of people that are playing college, they got like extra benefits and everything like that playing for that team.
Yeah.
But are we done or?
Yeah. Yeah, I've just got a nut roll of a week left and for work, even though it's only 2 days, but still. Um Colin's got a speaking of
Yeah, I
Colin.
was about to say it was like we got to get Colin. But yeah, I've always believed that because it's so strange because an athlete, and this is not defending like athletes and everything like that, but it's one of those things that if you're burning that many calories and you're worried about food and everything like that, then you're worried about your studies, then you're worried about your team. And if you're,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, Colin's getting a joke together.
okay, but it's one of those things. I feel for like a college player that actually is doing everything right, but he's like really stressed out because he can't, if you take away like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make money or anything like that because I got to go over this and I can't, uh, it just alleviates a lot of the stress for, if they actually want to achieve stuff.
Yeah.
Where she also had that thing to where if they're playing like football and they get a concussions and now they can't even freaking think for themselves. There's been occasions like that for a lot of college football players.
Right.
They get hit so hard, they're just changed person, and everything like that.
See, a lot of these guys are there on scholarships anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they only got like
but
a part of it that it was like food stuff too.
so it's a very slippery slope when you start.
It is.
When you start talking about compensating collegiate athletes for playing a sport for your school,
Shit.
that's very, very tricky.
It is, and that's the reason why I said like a small amount, and it can't be like you can't get bonuses or anything like that. You just has to be like, this is what you're getting. Deal with it, manage it. I still have to look at we were talking about it last week or 2 weeks ago about what was it, Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
The Browns. I need to find out more information about that. I just, it's one of those things I just realized it's like, shit, we gotta follow up on that.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of things we gotta follow up on. And we gotta keep this is the reason why I hate doing like I try not to do like politics or news stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I do news, it's just okay, we're just gonna go about this right now. We're gonna change the subject next week. Yeah. Because it's just exhausting to have to keep up with all that stuff. But hopefully I'll be able to be more concerned because I've been laxing, not because of you doing your thing. It's just I've been laxing because I've just been put down because I haven't had like that flow of money.
Yeah. Well, now that's been remedied.
Yeah.
So, and then my last day on the job here is going to be last week of June. So I'm probably looking at let me see here. Year.
I'm gonna have to help you set up your studio.
Yeah. Well, I got to get it put together first.
Yeah, you gotta get it put together, but I'm gonna try to get us better mics. And
well, I think for now this one will be just fine. I want to get a soundboard that I can program sounds into. So okay, everybody. Here we go. Hey, what's up, guy? Hey, everybody. So this is your weekly installment of Joke Time with Colin, and now your host, Colin. Hold on. There you. All right, now you, because I gave you some intro music. All right, so all right, go ahead.
2 years walk out of a gay bar. One says to the other, "Man, I can't believe I just blew $40 in there."
Oh my god, dude! Oh wow!
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
Wow!
Oh my god!
Your mother's not in the room, is she? Oh my god!
Oh god!
That is my genetic code on display for the world to hear, people. You are welcome. Oh, oh, all right. So In keeping with the spirit and theme of my sports show, my son has a Little League game tomorrow at 6. So wish him luck in the comments section and say goodnight, Colin.
Good night.
All right. I love you, bud. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, Colin. It's one of those moments we gotta look at each other. We gotta look at each other during when he's doing that and not laugh. It's like, that was messed up, Colin, and hang it up. Oh my god, that was fucking hilarious,
man.
That was quick. That was a quick jab and a good one.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I think on that note, we need to go ahead and just call it a
Victory.
Oh
Yup.
my Lord, oh mercy. Everybody, I'm Johnny Skelton.
I'm David Dickerman.
Thank
And
you
this
for
is-
listening and watching Nerd Sports episode 50 fucking whatever. I
54.
just don't even know right now.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching.
See ya laters.